All right, everybody, we have Coach here. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand for me. All right, we will get started with Neil. Neil, go ahead.
Boom, there we go. I'm up now. Hi, Coach. Hey.
Hey, Neil, we got to arrange something with Bryn Mawr Elementary. You're like a rock star over there, man.
All right, I'm ready to do that whenever you are. Yeah, we'll get it going eventually. But yeah, just wondering about the progress. It seems like you made a lot of progress since game one. And what part of that progress are you most pleased with? And then like, where do you still need to see improvement from your team?
Yeah, well, first, I appreciate you noticing that we've made some progress. That was important to us in this last game. We very much wanted to win the game, and obviously we were in position to do so, and felt really bad for them because we did make, I thought, significant progress in places that we were looking for, which is we've talked about multiple efforts on both sides, both offense and defense. And I thought defensively, when we had them in the half court, we were hard to play against. And then in the second half, our offense just slowed down so much. And, we were not as hard to play against. We were not making multiple efforts on offense with our passes and with our driving. And so then the shots, weren't as easy. And they got to play a little more free. And they were playing at a pace that they were getting easier, higher percentage shots. And ultimately, that was what did us in. So in between the New York game and the Seattle game, we only had a shoot around, a little bit of video. And so they took the information and I thought, applied it really well. And so we took a step and we thought that was important. And then obviously we know this week is like gold in terms of what we can potentially do with this. It doesn't mean that you're going to come out there and win all your games. It just means that you want to play a certain way and then let the chips fall where they might. And, so I say from that standpoint, that's what we were looking at as far as progress.
Kent, go ahead.
There we go. Hi, Coach. How did it feel to look out on the court and see your roster somewhat close to complete? That had to be kind of a nice feeling. And how did Fee look in her first workout?
Good. It's nice to add a player that's in game shape, right? Because she's coming off of playing at a high level over in France, and so that's good. She looks good, and it's just first day of practice today. So, she looks. We said she's doing Fee-like things. It's nice to have that back, and I know that Fee will take it upon herself to be a leader in terms of the effort areas and things that it takes to win possessions or win games, and I think we've missed that at times. When I talk about the multiple efforts, sometimes it's sprinting back and breaking up a transition play, get a deflection, just break it up. And Fee has that will, and that play is contagious. And we're excited to have her back.
A follow-up, people always kind of have the cliche, if you have a week off, it's like a new training camp. And in a way, it kind of can be, because you have people who've kind of gotten into better shape than they were in camp, and now you have your whole roster. I mean, do you look at it that way? Like this is almost like a week-long training camp before almost like a second opener?
While it might be those things, if I say that to the players, I'll have mutiny. So no, we can't call it a training camp. So don't put that in the headline and they all see it. And no, we said this is like gold. So call it gold. And they're a little more excited about, seeking gold and hanging on to it. So in terms of your question and what your intent is there is that, yes, we have a group that hasn't been together that is now together, and we desperately need this time. Not an excuse as to why we weren't successful, but every team, would like to have all their players together. And I think at this point, other than, 3-on-3, every team is going through, those of us that were waiting for players overseas, every team has those players back now, unless they are doing national team or 3-on-3 things. And so, hopefully we've cleared our challenges as far as player departures, and now we just, spend this week together and see if we can't, move the needle and push this thing forward.
Sloan, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. I was going to ask about, you kind of touched on this a little bit with, Fee coming back. What is kind of the most tangible way or most measurable way that you've missed her, whether that's defense or matchups or kind of late in those games, especially, against, Phoenix and most recently?
We've missed the effort that Fee plays with. Fee never stops moving. If you guys remember that, that's what Gino would say about her. She's an elite level when you talk about effort. And that's what we said. That's what the great ones do. There's a fine line between winning and losing. The good teams versus the great teams. What do they have? They have players that are willing to give maximum effort at all times, and they accept nothing less than that. Whether they're tired or not doesn't matter. You're going to get their very best. That's what makes them Olympians. It makes them champions. And for the good players, they're left wondering, gosh, I wonder why they're great and I'm not great. And so, that's what Fee gives you. And so she does winning things. And that's, obviously we're really welcomed for our team.
We'll go two more. We'll go Pierre and then Cody. Pierre, go ahead.
Cheryl, is it a little bit of a 2-for-1 situation to getting her back? Obviously, she'll, I don't know if I should say obviously, but I assume she'll move to the starting lineup. You drop a good player back. What does that do for your depth and rotation, just having her back and bolstering that bench at the same time?
Yeah, no, I'd say it is pretty obvious. Fee will get her starting job. And yeah, like you said, it's a natural thing that, someone like Bridget Carlton, who was starting, is now coming off the bench, and you get a little bit better, that you have the whole group together. And now we can really start working on rotations, which we haven't gotten to. We haven't been able to identify set things every night. And I'm really anxious to get to that, of who's playing together, when, why. And so, that's the next layer of things that we're excited to get to.
Any other questions for Coach?
Oh, I had one more, Corey.
I had one.
Okay.
Coach, how long will it take for Fee to get on the same page with two teammates she hasn't played with before?
Like no time. Fee, the game is just so simple for Fee, and she's going to make those guys look good. So it's not, like I said, it's not hard. Fee's just a really good basketball player. And so you pair that, the ones that have been here, that are new, we haven't played at a high enough level, that Fee would accept. And so I think, that's the mission this week is that we're going to be all on the same page of how hard we're going to play, the things that we like to do basketball wise. And Fee is only going to elevate that and bring up the best in the other ones.
Go ahead, Sloan.
And Coach, I was going to ask, talking about the starting lineups and rotations, especially coming off that 20-point game. What are you liking about Crystal coming off the bench? Obviously, she had that scoreless outing against New York. Do you think she's adjusting to that role still? And what do you like about her as one of the earliest off the bench?
I don't think there's any adjustment as long as you grab a hold of what the team needs you to do. I think if you don't, like if you're somebody that, is focused on, no, I'm not saying this is Crystal, but if you focus on, I'm coming off the bench, I'm not used to doing that, then you're not going to be a consistent helper off the bench. If you say, and we communicate these things to our players, why we want to do certain things. Obviously Crystal started most of the games last year, but we feel like this is what's best for the team. And we like, you're not going to see less of Crystal. You may not just see her at the start of the game, or you might not see her at the start of the third quarter, but you're going to see a lot of Crystal, and some nights she's going to finish games. We might play offense, defense, right? Whatever we got to do, because some matchups are difficult from a size standpoint, or if we need rebounding, depends what we need. And if everybody has that mindset that, doesn't matter, who starts, I know that young people kind of think that's like the be all end all. But everybody's got really, really important roles, and it depends on how you see things. If we all have the mindset that we're going to do what's best for the team, then everybody's going to be fine. And I think Crystal, is in that space. New York game was bad for everybody, so I don't see this as, Crystal come off the bench for the first time and therefore didn't score. There was a lot to be said about a lot of other things that were going on in that New York game. But again, we responded after the New York game, and that's what you saw from Crystal was a response, and I think the team responded, and that put Crystal in much better positions. And her being aggressive was really important.
All righty. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Thanks.
together.
You're muted. There you go.
If he needs us.
I hope we're recording this
I
part.
miss him so much.
Guys, she didn't miss a shot today. She didn't miss one shot.
She only tripped once.
Only fell on my face a couple times.
You guys want to stay and ask some questions, or are you good?
Get them out of here.
Get them out of here. All right, everybody. We will get started with questions from Kent, and then we'll go Jace and then Pierre. Kent, go ahead.
Actually, how hard was it for you to be back in the States and not able to be with this team and watching them play and maybe struggle a little bit? That had to have been a pretty difficult week for you.
It was really hard, especially because, I feel like I've been tested so much being overseas, and I feel like I wish I could have, been out there, and to be so close, but to not be able to play with the team is really hard. And especially, the last game, I thought we played so well for most of the game. And then at the end, it kind of just slipped away from us. So it is tough not being able to play with them, but today felt great being back on the court and being around them more.
Hey, Fee, what's the acclimation process like, especially with, some newer players on this team? Do you still feel like you can kind of hit the ground running with them?
Yeah. And I think, I'm coming late too. So they've had some time to kind of be together more than I've had to be with them. But, I think we had a really great practice today. Everyone worked really hard and we got to work on a lot of things. And you saw a big progression, I think, from the New York game to the Seattle game. So we're just trying to build upon that and make sure that we're getting better every day in this week-long break.
Pierre, go ahead.
Fee, have you had a chance to watch the games at least? And if you have, what has kind of stood out to you from watching your team, and what do you think, needs to be done for you guys to kind of dig yourselves out in a 0-3 hole?
I have been able to watch the games. The New York game was obviously really hard to watch. We did not play well on offense or defense. And the Seattle game, I thought we played, like I said, so well for like 35 minutes. And then for whatever reason, we just kind of died at the end. So we have to be able to finish the game strong. Every team here is really good. You see really good players getting cut every day. So the levels of play is really hard, and we have to be able to go at high levels for 40 minutes if we're going to want to beat people.
We'll go Cody and then Sloan. Cody, go ahead.
Cheryl says you're the type of player, doesn't skip a beat. You mesh instantly with players, and you're going to make Kayla and Ariel better already. What is your first impression practicing?
It's really cool. They're obviously two really good players. And like I said, I think we got to work on a lot of good stuff today. So it was cool to kind of see them in action and practice rather just in games, because both of them, I've only seen them in games when we were playing against them, and now for these couple of games here. So like I said, it was cool to see them in practice and kind of be able to play with them and get used to their style of play and things like that.
Just to follow up on that, last year you played the majority of the season without Syl. So what's it like sharing the court with her again?
Awesome. I love playing with Mama Syl. She makes everything so much easier. She is great on offense and defense. So like I said, when she's on the court, it makes things a lot easier. So it feels good to be back out there with her.
Sloan, go ahead.
Hey, Fee, something Cheryl said to us was that she kind of expected like no transition for you to be able to integrate yourself with new players, kind of like Cody was asking. But I was wondering about, what is your feeling out process with new teammates? Is it just kind of like 5-on-5 on the floor? Are you observing? Are you talking to them? I mean, how are you trying to kind of make that jump? Or does having kind of this week-long time between game really help that process too?
It does help that I've been able to see them play, and I've played against them for the past, 3 years. So you kind of know their style a little bit, but it's always different when you're on the court with them. So really just trying to watch them to see what habits they have, telling them what I like when I'm on the court. Communication is really important. So trying to cut down that learning curve as fast as you can, because we're already in season. So I'm trying to learn from them as fast as I can. And I'm trying to teach them about me as fast as I can.
Any other questions for Fee?
I had one more. You're having played in Europe, like Coach said, you're here in game shape, so that's not an issue. But were you able to, work on any particular aspects of your game? Are we going to see anything different from the Napheesa Collier we saw at the end of the season last year?
So some things I try to work on were better at three, shooting them quicker, and, moving a little bit more, and then change of direction is also something that I try to work on. So try to implement that into the season as well.
Alrighty, that'll do it for today, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.